Oh,
So
come on.
you are not to talk to any of our lenders directly.
Oh my God. This
And
is crazy. Rasna, I had no idea your story was this crazy.
they're actually going through something similar. They try to kill themselves, accepting that that is the only option left now, to talk to a bankruptcy insolvency trustee. Because till then you're like, no, there must be some solution. You're trying to find solutions.
"70 properties, private money, mental breakdown. The truth about scaling real estate." My friend Rasna Aurora built a $50 million real estate portfolio. We'll get to that in just a minute. Now, I trust you're all making the best of Canadian winters. This has been a particularly long and cold one. My memory's not that good. I find this is all new suffering. Anyways, with all the conflict going on in the world, I have a planned trip coming up for Mexico, and it's awful what's going on down there. My family is grateful for all the peace that we have in Canada. Yes, we have that orange-faced gentleman in the south who has awful things to say about us, but those are just words. Sticks and stones may break my bones and all that sort of thing. Now, what do you all do for work-life balance and quality time with loved ones during the winter? One day, I want to take the kids snowmobiling, in case anyone's looking for ideas. For those in Ontario, you can actually find rentals in Barrie, Ontario, in case you're looking for something fun to do. Our family likes to ski together, and lots of family dinners with great food. This past family day happened to be Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year to the non-Chinese, so gong hei fa choi to you all. I hope you all get rich. Whether or not you celebrate the Lunar New Year, I hope you all get rich. Jerry and I are big proponents of work-life balance, quality and quantity of time with family, especially our kids and friends. Hence, our goal at Wealth Planning, I Win Wealth Planning, is for clients is to not just build wealth, is to build it without sacrificing nights and weekends, but also to not sacrifice returns either. Our clients have jobs that are already in careers that are already demanding. They have kids' schedules that are just as demanding or more demanding than my own. Several have really successful jobs and businesses. And honestly, some of them are really stressful as well. The last thing I would recommend to them is a second job, managing properties, tenants, trying to outsmart the stock market. Or maybe that's just me projecting. But one of our values here is to do unto others as you would have done to you. Again, I wouldn't be suggesting folks who cannot handle it a second job or a side hustle that takes away from the things that are most important in life. Now, I was catching up with a friend. Now, speaking of relationships, I was catching up with an old friend recently, one of the best stock pickers I've ever met. He's a brilliant researcher. He's able to retire off of his stocks. So yeah, he's a wonderful track record of timing and buying dips, choosing the right stocks. He's telling me about what he's up to in the stock markets and what he's eyeing, and a couple home run stocks he's taken profits on just recently. Of course, one of them is gold. Everyone's talking about gold, which is having a historic run. The ETF GLD, which follows the spot price of gold, is up roughly 177% over the last 5 years at the time of this recording. I checked while on my phone with my friend. I'm pretty sure everyone believes this to be a home run in anyone's books, to 177% return over 5 years. Out of curiosity, though, everything's relative, right? I looked at something much more boring. A Canadian index ETF, same 5 year, it's 116%. Partly because there's a lot of gold in the Canadian stock indexes as well. But this is incredibly boring, easy, no stock picking required. But here's also where things get interesting, because this is a real estate show, after all. I modeled what that same 5 year period would look like if I applied a very typical real estate strategy. I structured it just like real estate in terms of leveraging. If I had put down 25% using my own capital, so my investment, my out of pocket, and then obtained a loan for 75%, so no different like a mortgage, 75% loan to value, 25% down. Now, this isn't hindsight, but net of after-tax interest expense, my return would have been 330%. A leveraged, boring Canadian index return, it may not be so boring after your leverage, but otherwise the underlying is a boring Canadian index return. When leveraged, returned 330% over a 5 year period versus gold's historic run of 177%. Not quite double, but close to beating gold's historic return by over 80%. Note, this is a hypothetical situation, and in hindsight being 2020, because institutional lenders have only been recently willing to lend 75% loan to value on stock market investments. But if you like leveraged growth-oriented investments like I do, such as I like real estate, this is why my clients are investing this way as well. And also no one's talking about it because realtors can't obviously offer this. This is not real estate. And the bank can't offer this either. But the math is the math. just like Warren Buffett's advice to the amateurs, just buy the index and go back to life. I'm just doing what I've always done in real estate and essentially getting a mortgage on my stocks. But this is way easier than getting a mortgage. And also, I don't have to be a landlord. Now, if you're a current or past client of Cherry or Minds, that includes Stock Hacker Academy, feel free to reach out if you'd like to discuss this further and how to invest this way. And for anyone else, my schedule is honestly packed until April. So, and Cherry's is even worse. It is tax season. So expect to see a training event in maybe April or May from us. That will be more publicly available. But for now, we're really busy with clients and past clients. So for now, please make sure you're on our email newsletter. We will announce when the next training event will be. Join the 10,000 plus real estate investors who are already in Canada and on my free newsletter, learning the latest and greatest there is to know about being a Canadian real estate investor. www.truthaboutrealestateinvesting. Again, that's www.truthaboutrealestateinvesting.ca. Type in your name and email on the right side and you're set. And you're on the list and hope to see you at one of our future events. On to this week's show. Again, the title is 70 Properties, Private Money, Borrowing, Mental Health Breakdown, the Truth About Scaling Real Estate. My friend Rasna built a $50 million real estate portfolio, 70 properties. A lot of the financing was from private money. The refinances were in motion. She came from the same real estate investment network that I did, that was led by Don Campbell. And then later on, she had a coach who was the most expensive coach in Canada, as far as I knew. And Rasna was a coach herself at Blackheart University. Then COVID hit. Renovations stalled. Material and labor prices skyrocketed. Refinances froze. Renewals fees stacked up. And she was told to borrow more money, more hard money loans, just to survive. Unfortunately, her mortgage advisor, I'm doing air quotes, mortgage advisor, air quotes, is now bankrupt personally and professionally. She has a lifetime ban from both mortgage and securities. So I think it's safe to say Rasna got some bad advice from her professional advisor. Instead, Rasna made a different choice, one that cost her everything. Now, folks, here's a lesson in integrity, morals, and ethics. I won't spoil it, but so listen to the show. This week's episode is not about hyper Lamborghinis. It's about using leverage, specifically hard money loans. That's what us veteran real estate investors call private money borrowing, integrity, mental health, and what really happens when scaling with over leverage goes wrong. If you invest in real estate, especially using private hard money loans, you need to hear this one. Spoiler alert, there is no fairy tale ending for this show. And that's the honest truth about real estate investing for Canadians. Now, food for thought. Claire Drage, the former mortgage professional, give her a Google and see who provided her a platform. Even after cracks started showing in her business. When cracks first showed, I took down our episode together. I do regret having given her a platform, but as soon as I received information that investors were being ghosted, I took down that episode over 4 years ago. Since then, even after cracks were showing, she was still making the rounds. Many real estate investor network stages were available to her, and she spoke at many of them regularly. So lastly, I'll leave you with a quote that I live by. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And that's Winston Churchill. He's not the first one to say it, but that's the one who made it famous for me. Also remember he was saying this before entering World War II, so it was a big deal. Those who study real estate history know that during the financial crisis of 2007 and 8, it was leverage that killed the developers. Hence, while boring, I've always focused on positive cash flow when talking about real estate investing. Now, enough from me. Please enjoy the show. Hi, Rasna. Welcome to the Truth About Real Estate Investing show.
Thank you for having me, Irvin. It's a pleasure to finally be able to do this with you.
Yes, I've been asking you to do this for more than 3 years.
Yes, you have. I needed to be ready. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I was ready to do it in an honest way, and so that it could help other people. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about the journey?
Sure. It's what an adventure. Depends how far you want to go back, but I started investing in real estate over 17 years ago. At that time, as a new immigrant, as you understand as well, in Asian communities, I'm from India originally, so there's a lot of focus on creating something that's long term for yourself and your children, and not depending on uh, the government ever. Like that thought kind of never even crosses our mind, or the government will take care of us. So that concept for me is not even part of the equation.
And just to add to that, Indians and Chinese come from significant history of currency devaluation. So
Right.
hard assets were something that was basically our people had to learn these things, had to invest in hard assets to protect ourselves from currency devaluation. But sorry.
Yes, oh no, absolutely you're right. And not just that, as a culture because my family hails from Punjab, a lot of focus in our family specifically was education and land ownership. So my grandparents and my great grandparents were landowners. So land, things in life can go
Hmm.
awry and go kaput, but land always kind of stays, and that can get you
Hmm.
through. So I saw that as a kid growing up. So that you always kind of bring your history with you in your journey and how it affects you and your values. So
Hmm.
that definitely always was part of why I wanted to do real estate. I was working for a bank when I came here. I was came here as a 24-year-old girl who got married through then social media was not social media at that time in 2002. It was a matrimonial website. I met someone, and we yeah, look at your eyes go. Everybody was like, "You're crazy. You want to move to another country? You don't know this person." Blah blah blah. Can you tell I like adventure, taking risks? So yeah, no, he's a very good man. He's my ex-husband, and we're best friends till today. We co-parent amazingly. We have a son who was adopted from Kazakhstan, and I'm extremely blessed that I made the decisions that I did. And I kind of bring that in as well because my journey was affected by these decisions, and people listening, we don't know where you are and where in the journey of life you are right now, but
Hmm.
just kind of as you'll hear more of the story, just kind of remember that there's a reason you're on this path, however spiritual you are, and
Right.
everything works out in the end as long as you have your heart in the right place. So taking back to the real estate thing, the typical buy a house, try to pay it down as soon as you can, um, buy a single home, like a townhome, rent it out, pay it down, all of that. So I started doing that. And eventually, time goes by fast, right? And then soon, within about 8 years or so, uh, suddenly I was told, I was like, okay, these houses were in Barrie, by the way, and I was always interested in learning, so I was constantly learning. I was with learning through Rain. I was a huge follower of what Don Campbell would say. I was just soaking all the information I would get. We went on these. I don't know if you remember a part of the bus tours that used to happen in Rain. So I went to one, and I was still in my 20s at that time, right? So to Barry, and I didn't know anything about it, learned everything, learned the fundamentals,
Right.
and the final step, right? As we, as coaches, always say, action. You have to take the action.
Right.
So
Sorry,
even
sorry, Rasna, what year is this?
so, this was 2008,
Oh,
2007.
good time.
Yeah, yeah. So interesting time. Again, the market is kind of, that whole 20-year cycle, 15, 10, 15. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
If anyone doesn't remember, 2008 was a global financial crisis.
yes,
So coming out of it was a perfect time to buy any sort of asset, basically. Gold,
yes, yes.
Bitcoin if it existed, real estate, stock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue. Yeah.
So yeah, at that time it was, I didn't know better, so I put 20% down, bought the house, saved for that 20%, bought that, and
Right.
then
All right.
then
Tell us about the
learned.
house. How much was the house and what was it?
It was
So the
yeah.
poor young people that realize how cheap things were back then. Tell us about the house.
Yeah, and it was what, $240,000.
240,000. Okay, what? 240,000. What was this house? Is it detached? Is
It was
it
a
three
beautiful,
bedroom?
it was a nice newer townhome, 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, finished basement, fenced in backyard. It was beautiful. And as other investors will understand and agree, you will wish when you sell it, like, why did I sell it? When I did, but you have to make decisions
Okay. Yeah,
based on.
you want to torture yourself? You want to guess what it is worth today?
Uh, it's worth over 650.
Right.
But
Yes.
yeah,
So
but no,
almost a triple on price. Right.
yeah, and that's the
Actually,
thing.
let's do the math. Hang on. You put down 20%. Hang on, I had to get my calculator. So you put down 20%.
Yeah,
Right. So you said 240?
yeah, 240.
240. 240,000. You put down 20%, which is $48,000, which doesn't get you anything today. So your investment's 248,000, and you think it's worth what? Six? You think six? What did you think it's worth today?
650, yeah, 650.
650, and you paid 245. Sorry, you said 245. You paid
240, yeah.
240. 240 divided by your measly $48,000 down payment. You had the closing costs, but let's just keep the math simple. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's it's an 8.5 times return.
exactly. That's why, people like never underestimate the power of time in real estate. It's
Yeah,
so,
time in real estate. Do you
so
remember what the rent was back then? Do you remember what you originally charged for
yeah,
rent?
I think it was, we started at around 1350.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
then 1,500 or so. And right now, because I help with rentals for other landlords. That's my business currently. That rents for about 26 to 2,700 right now. So
right. So
uh,
so just easy numbers, the property is almost tripled in value. It probably did triple at the peak. So it's almost tripled
yeah,
in value, but the rent's only doubled,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So when people are like, "Oh my God, it's so expensive," well, compared to, it's all, it depends on which side you're on, right? But if
That's why I
anyone
tell
new,
young people, it's not a bad deal to rent.
yeah, no, no, for sure. Compared to other things that are available and stuff, that's a whole different discussion altogether,
Mhm.
right? But yeah, so that's kind of how I started, and then I was anything I do, as most people should. You want to get into something, learn every single thing you can about it and about that industry, about that field or whatever. And at that time, there was very little available in Canada. There was barely anything that was Canadian content.
Yeah,
So Rain
yeah.
was probably the only Canadian um, learning place, forum, a group, that
Especially
wanted.
national.
It was national, and Don
Yeah.
was very good with numbers and all of that. And I see him enjoying his best life, and he kudos to him. He
hmm hmm
deserves it. But yeah, so
he de-risked a lot of us investors in that he focused largely on economic fundamentals and the numbers.
yes, he was
Uh,
huge on numbers and
yeah,
huge on economic fundamentals, and he was huge in the long term.
yeah, and boring. And he would
Boring.
tell us not to invest with your ego.
Yes, he was like real estate should be boring. So he was definitely not. Uh, I don't know what he thinks of what's
He wouldn't
happening.
have been a very good Instagram influencer.
No, no, and like the last 5, 6 years of what we see online and everything, everybody's like, okay, this and that and flips and US and
Yeah,
co-living.
burning books and throwing them over their head, or or
Yeah,
they
no,
have Lamborghinis in the driveway, or
all different.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
limousines, and they have models on each arm. Like that was the opposite of Dawn.
Yes, and we can see Dawn was real and those guys are not. So
hmm
what's happening. But yeah, on that. So basically, that's kind of how I started. And then because I learned what I learned, I started applying. The good thing was that I started to put into action whatever I was learning. So I wasn't waiting for the perfect opportunity or the perfect thing to come along. I put a plan in place after reading some books that, okay, I'm going to buy one property every 6 months for the next 5 years. I was reading these books called Automatic Homeowner Millionaire series by David.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very frugal. I'm Indian, so I got all the books I could on real estate from the library for free, uh, and just read everything. And the basic premise of his books is buy one property. If you buy one property every year for 10 years, after the 10th year period, you sell off five, so that five are now free and clear, and that's your retirement plan.
hmm
So honestly, though, if anybody can do that even today, you're pretty much set for what you need. You don't need if you're not looking to build empires and all of that fun stuff.
hmm
Um, tried and tested strategy over, So yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking and how I actually did those first 8 years or so. And then I wanted to sell my properties in Berry because they had become, oh my God, they were worth 450 now. So I was like, oh my God, we gotta sell. I want this money. and there's my property manager in Barrie. He's like, oh, why do you want to sell it? Why don't you just pull the equity out? And I was like, huh? What? So then I learned about the whole line of credit. Well, I knew the HELOC thing, but uh, refinancing. So I learned
Hmm.
about refinancing and pulling that to invest. It's like, whoa, this is amazing. So I did
Right.
that with those properties and then doubled the portfolio,
Right.
whatever it was.
Oh, so sorry, just to pause you there for the newer investor, if you're not familiar. So Rasna would get a larger mortgage on an existing property to free up capital for down payments or investment money for other property.
That's
Right.
right. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, did you say you doubled the size of your portfolio? You
Yeah.
doubled the number of
It
properties?
was small. It was like we had 4 or 5 homes in 5 years or 6, 7 years, and then I was able to use the equity from each and then put those as down payments for 4 more or something like
Hmm.
that in the
Hmm.
next 2 years. And then again started learning, reading, and so, oh, what's this new refinancing? And then trying to find out, other ways of then growing. And then started learning about this whole um, adding value and flipping. And then I was like, okay, I'm not a gambler, so that wasn't very interesting to me. But the idea of flipping to hold was.
Hmm.
So started with that. Also, at that time, I was kind of in a very uh, not the best place in my marriage, and I so when I had been doing this real estate thing, I had left my job back in 2007 to do real estate full time because my then husband, he's in IT. So, I was like, okay, listen, we can manage our lives the way we are managing. And I assure you that I'll figure out a way that I'm making the same, if not more, by increasing our asset value by putting in what I'm learning. So we both agreed, and that was a great plan. Excuse me. So yeah, we did that. And then I was in a really not great place with the marriage, and I was like, "What am I going to do? If I leave, I'm not even going to qualify for a credit card because without an income, like everything is an asset. You need an income to qualify for anything, and that was making me feel even worse. So then I started figuring out, okay, what can I do? How can I make life better for myself, the future, and everything? And I came across Stefan Arniel. May he rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago, and came across his webinars. Not webinars, seminars, seminars. And he was based out of Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah. So in 2017, I said, okay, it was, I think, a $500 seminar or something for 3 days. Of course, cost of going and staying and everything. And I told my
Oh, sorry, you were flying to Winnipeg for these?
yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And if I had to do it again, I would totally prefer to do that still, just because I know the difference between what happened in those rooms and what happens in a webinar, which became huge in COVID, which was great, of course. Just yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's once I went there, I saw a light at the end of the tunnel, and I saw a way of creating something myself for myself by learning and putting, as we say, investing in myself.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I can either, it can be status quo, and I can live this wonderful life. We had a big mansion and we had beamers and everything, but I was unhappy. And or I can leave all that and learn about real estate more than I need to so that I can sustain myself. So I made a pact with my ex-husband, and Deepak was very supportive, as he always is. And he said, "No, you learn what you need to do, go where you need to do, everything." So I did that. So one seminar, and I was hooked onto what I learned. It was amazing. It was not like right now we focus so much on the energy and the Tony Robbins style of all of that, which is great, of course, to be in those rooms. But these the what I experienced at that time was a lot of knowledge based, where we were doing a lot of things by hand. We were calculating, we were doing real life scenarios and real life case studies and everything. And that really intrigued and got me hooked. So I went back for a couple more such seminars. They had, so basically the point is I invested in myself, and I did. I learned how to become an expert negotiator. They used to have literally Hunger Games style games involved with real money. So everybody would have to cough up $300 or 100, I don't remember, so that the pain was real. It's like, because the whole concept was, if you can't afford to lose $300, you should not be in the real estate game. And at that time, we were like, oh, this is a way of him making money. And some people were like, oh, I'm walking off. I was like, fine, he was totally okay with it. He's like, that's the door. But it was so correct. It was the right thing, because when you played every case study for $10 and you lost that $10 to someone, not only are you doing, understanding the pain of losing money, now you you put a couple of zeros at the end, and that would have been in real life had you make that mistake really. So things like that helped me learn a lot. So I did a lot of training in negotiations. We had a wealth training. We had capital raising, which was a big two words used a lot in the last 5 years. Now people are scared to even use it because of things that have happened in the last few years with big names in the industry, as you know. We can talk about that later. But I got the tools that I needed, that I believed I needed, and I thought as much as possible. And then I went home and I started taking action. So I started, putting into place, and I started honing my skills and acquiring properties off market, and actually doing the buying 40 to 60 cents on the dollar, fighting hard, putting in offers. They were like, okay, at that time, even as a coach, I used to be like, you have to put 100 offers, and then you'll get 3 accepted, 10 accepted, and then you negotiate 3 and take 1. That was the basic formula, now packaged in different ways by other companies. But the concept, the idea, it works, or at least it worked at that time. So yeah, that's kind of how I started, and how I grew into being an active real estate investor. And I was able to do that. And I did get separated and divorced from my husband, so I was on my own, building this new thing. And we had a very fair division of our assets that we had built. So I put everything that I owned in this business, because if I don't believe in it, why should someone else, right? And I truly believed in every single thing I did. And so I continued learning. I continued going.
Oh, sorry. Just pause you there. Just to ask a question. Tell us about the properties that you were transacting on, because again, none of us were there. Like,
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
Because
So
these were off market,
many
right?
of them were off market, but many
Okay.
were MLS as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would study the market. Again, these are things you learn now in coaching and all of that. But there's the basic thing is, uh, watch the market, watch MLS every single day if this is what you want to do, so that you understand trends, you understand days on market, and then you see the opportunities, because you are in a position to compare. Okay, 6 months back, this thing would have been this much now. So automatically that will come to you. Now it's
Right.
whether you do it on your own, it'll
Yeah.
take
You live
longer.
and breathe it. You're gonna know everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you must be aware. Don't just be, oh, okay, I'm gonna pay someone $20,000 to join their coaching, and they're gonna give me this set of rules. No, they're
No, you gotta work.
no, you have to work for that. And then don't go back and blame the coach that, oh my God, I gave him so much money and I'm still this. And no, buddy, you go to Harvard and you can still fail in life. We have to put in the work.
Yeah.
That people don't understand that, I think, as much. And it's easier to always blame someone, right, for one's
Right.
failures. So
So, sorry, for the listeners' benefit, can you tell us what the process is like? Are you just searching online? Are you going door to door? What does the process look like to find these properties that you're willing to write offers on? And then give
so
us
I
an
was
idea on
mainly
who actually accepts these offers.
Sure. So I was mainly, and still am, a firm believer in just regular residential homes. I'm not into multifamily 6+, so I'm not the person for that. There are many experts for that in the industry, and you know many of them. My field, my drug of choice was the single family home, the typical 1950s bungalow, wartime bungalow with a basement that has nothing in it, or maybe has that ugly green carpet and fun stuff and everything. Looking for those, or homes that have hoarder homes, homes that people have inherited and want nothing to do with.
Estate sales, yeah.
Yeah. Homes that are so bad that they cannot be listed on MLS, because to list on MLS, you need to at least make it presentable. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
So
homes.
you're targeting properties that were unfavorable to the majority of the market.
Some of them, some of them. Talking to people, talking to neighbors of an area that I'm looking at. Uh, going to open houses and just sometimes listening, um, going into rooms and listening. Talk less, listen more in the beginning, especially, and you'll get things. One of the things, when you're going somewhere and you take a wrong turn and you're like, oh my god, why did I don't even know where I have landed and everything, and you're so angry that you took a wrong turn and you're in this place you don't know. There are so many such times that we made wrong turns into streets. We actually found these streets that we knew nothing about, and we ended up buying houses in those streets because you then saw value. So it kind of changes perspective as well, that you may think that you're not going in the direction you should, but there's opportunities literally everywhere if you just know, one, to want to see them, and two, learn how to recognize them. Again, there's no one size fits all. There's a few things you can do, and it's like saying, okay, Irvin, today you just think of the word red, and then you'll start seeing red everywhere. You start noticing it. So it's the same concept. And again, you've held conferences, you know way more than this stuff, but it's just noticing things more. My point being that
I
if
just host a conference. I don't know any actually how to do
no,
anything.
that was a great conference, by the way.
So, Rasna, was there a particular formula that you would follow whether or not something was worth owning?
Yeah, the typical sentence taught to us, and what we try to look for was find something that's 40 to 60 cents on the dollar. So if something you can renovate something, if you can sell something for 100,000 after renovation, try to buy it for 40 to 60,000, renovate it for 10, or depending on how much that 40 or 60 is, renovate for 10, closing costs of 5 or 10, whatever that number was. It's been a while. But and then you have a profit. On average, we would say expect a profit realistically of about 30,000 on a flip. And if you do that, you're good. Some you will not. And out of 5, you may have a positive thing on 3. One may be negative, and one you might, what do you say? Just balance out. So just nil, zero sum game. So that was kind of
Right,
what
so
we
it's a bit of a
learned.
numbers game. You need to do quite a couple deals to
Always,
balance things out.
for sure, always a numbers game, and that's why obviously the more you do, the more you can average out a loss becomes. But that is tricky too, because at which point do you stop that averaging out if you're starting to have more of that negative number? And I think that is where the trouble happened in the last 4 years in the market. Uh, Good people who I'm sure, had never had bad intentions, um, just got wrapped up in things, and it just went beyond their control. And unfortunately, 99% of them just raised their hands and just shut their doors, literally put their keys in the thing and said, come and get your keys. Or, they just said, no, I can't do this anymore, and walked away. And now people are dealing with the aftermath of that. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come to your show, and why I know you wanted to have me as well, because it's important to talk about that part as well. Because if it happens, because it does, um, such few people actually talk about it who have gone through that. That people who are new in the industry and again falling in that cycle that I see right now of everybody being an expert, and I know that they're not. Just by being in a room, you're not an expert, but you're doubting yourself out as one, and that's so dangerous. But people will not realize that. And again, someone may not be doing it intentionally. They've been told that you're because you're part of this group, you are learning and you are an expert. No, it takes time and lessons you need to learn before you can become an expert in something, right? So that's why I
Yeah,
really
that's
wanted
why
to.
we had John Schwenker on the show. He remember he shared he did like 3 or 4 successful flips, and then the final flip wiped out all his profits.
Yeah. And that's so real though. It happens,
It's
right?
so real.
It is so
And like
real.
the advice I repeat off, you don't listen to the show, but the advice I always repeat is if someone tells you they've never lost money, run.
That's so
Because if
true.
they've never lost money, they can go to Niagara Falls and sit at the casino table and just make their millions of dollars. Really
Yeah,
easy.
exactly. And be careful of those people, because they're not experienced enough, they're not taking enough risk,
Yeah.
uh, or
Or they're lying.
that flat out lying. And there's people like that. I'm
There's
dealing
lots of them. There's lots of them still in the community.
Yeah, and they will do everything in their power to suppress you from telling their truth.
Oh yeah, threaten you
Oh
with
my God.
lawsuits. I've been on that. I got
Oh
I
yeah.
got I got I got them all in my emails.
Yeah. I got a letter from someone. It's like defamation. You have to apologize. And this. No, no. You want to do this? All facts were shared. I'm happy to share all the emails and everything.
Oh
My
yeah,
point
you had
being,
one of that recently. Oh boy.
yes, yes. I'm dealing with that right now, and the bullying continues. The threats continue. So,
Is
but
this same individual? So
same.
for those who don't know, like you had a really rough patch for a couple of year period. Can you
Yes.
talk to what that was like?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we were kind of building up to that. So when I started, being active in real estate, so now I was very good at capital raising. I was very good at uh,
Finding deals. Yeah.
finding deals,
Yeah.
negotiating deals, closing deals. I never had one deal that did not close, even if it was off market and through a wholesaler. And reputation was like it was important to me, as I think is for most of us from, homes that we come from and our stories as immigrants. But so there were years where, in the beginning I had like, okay, I closed on, we did 8 deals the first year, 15 deals the next year, and then now you know how to do that part so well that you can do it in your sleep. And you literally are like, I'm sleeping and I open my eyes and I'm analyzing, oh, this came on the market. Does it work? Okay. Message going out to my realtor at 3 a.m. in the morning. God bless him. And I'm like, listen, by 8:30, this should go out, and give the seller time till 10 o'clock to accept, or we're done. So early bird gets the worm, and many of those deals were done like that. So I knew, I had my own ways, and they used to call me the shark or whatever. I don't like titles at all. This no. And people like to raise you up when they bring you down as brutally as well, which is fair. But what I mean is that I was very involved, and I was good at what I was doing. But as you know, as you become bigger, as you're scaling up, um, so at the end of it, to give you an idea, I had a portfolio, no joint ventures. I did not do joint ventures. I do not do joint ventures. Um, and yeah, we can talk about that later. But so I wanted everything uh, in my company's name, so that if there were any difficult decisions to be made, I would be the one making them, and I had control of making that decision myself. So at the height of it, um, the 7 companies that I own, I think it was 7, uh, owned about $50 million worth of real estate. And these were all single family homes mostly that we bought. And the model was we would buy these homes and we would convert them into a 2-unit property by adding an ADU or SDU in the basement and renting them out. So very few of them. In the beginning, we flipped a few, but then I saw the money was not, that whole thing was happening where when you sell it after all the costs are being deducting, it was not really making much. So I pivoted and changed the model to hold. So the model was negotiate, buy, renovate, add additional unit, refinance, and then hold for whatever time. That was the model. So I had the broker that I worked with. I had a lot of trust in her, and like I said, I don't think there was any ill intention in the beginning or ill plan. I just think things got way too big for them as well.
Are we naming names?
We can, I'm sure we can. It's public knowledge, right? But anyways, so yeah. So my point was with my broker, I had made the plan that okay, this is my plan. I want to own X amount of properties. This is the amount I want per month at the end of my journey. I want an income of X coming in monthly, so that I'm now a completely passive investor and I'm out of the game in about 5 to 6 years. So we made a whole plan and everything. And okay, you're doing this. By this month, you're refinancing so that before the first year, okay, going back a bit, all these mortgages were on private money because after a few, or 5 or whatever the numbers nowadays is, the banks will not lend to you as an A lender, right? And
Okay.
you won't even qualify.
Sorry, Rasna, just pause you there. Are we, just to clarify, are we talking about Claire Drage?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So,
Oh, sorry, just wanted to share my screen just so this is the Truth About Real Estate Investing show, and this is public knowledge now.
yeah.
1 second. Actually, a friend of mine sent me this over the holidays.
Yeah.
So this is the Ontario Securities Commission website, settlement with Claire Drage of the Lions Share Group Inc. So I'll post a link in the show notes for anyone who wants to read it. But for just to fast forward today, her company is bankrupt, and part of the settlement is Mrs. Drage will be permanently banned from becoming or acting as a registrant or as a director or officer of any issuer. So I don't know if this is related to the work she did with you, but part of her work has gotten her banned from conducting business.
Yeah.
Again, reading directly from the website, between 2021 and 2024, they raised over $285 million, leaving nearly $90 million owing to approximately 450 investors at the time of bankruptcy. Drage companies also sold these securities without meeting prospectus and registration requirements, depriving investors of critical protections. Sorry, continue.
No, that's why I said it's okay to mention because it's public knowledge. But yeah, so it was, we had this plan, this whole thing was planned that, okay, planned as in my business plan was with the companies, okay, when you refi, then we pay out everybody and then it just holds itself and carries it forward, just like a typical BRRRR. So that was, yeah. And again, that period is, when I was in active real estate was between 2018 and then 2023 is when we wrapped up the proposal. I'll talk about that very openly as well.
Can you share what the terms were like on these private mortgages for those who aren't familiar with what private mortgages look like?
Yeah. So private mortgages can be anything upwards of 8% if it's a secured mortgage, typically. And that's that's how we would present. I would find a property and do my numbers, share with the broker. Okay, this is why it makes sense. Need the money short term. Need to borrow the money for renos. On refi, it gets paid out, a little bit of equity left, and then it just holds and carries itself. Perfect formula on the books, and in most cases worked as well. But at the end of the day, a broker is a licensed individual with a fiduciary duty. So, I mean, in my case, she trusted me, and I'm for me, integrity is very important. So I was making sure that I was doing those numbers right? Unfortunately, what things that happened with others, the yachts and those people in the news and everything that brought down so many investors related to the
That
wind
wasn't
turbine.
you. You didn't have a yacht. You weren't
I didn't have, no,
private jet.
no, my running expenses were all only from my coaching income. I didn't draw any money from my business because my goal was different. My goal was that, okay, I'm going to put every single thing that I own and everything, blood, sweat, and tears in this business. And then at the time, after X amount of years, when the business plan is at the last step, it's refi and everything carries itself, then I will retire.
Right. But Rasna, like your business, your investment model was very common and has worked for many people.
Yes,
When did it not work? What
COVID.
happened?
COVID happened.
Oh,
But again, it's not just COVID's fault. I'm saying COVID brought with it a change in everything, right? And nobody could have foreseen how it would affect blockchain and how it would affect everything. But it
right.
was a domino effect. Uh,
So sorry, Raz, what was your situation? What was your portfolio like when COVID hit? Like, did you
when
already have
COVID,
you were in the middle of renovations and whatnot?
yeah,
Oh,
and the
oh
the
boy.
yeah, we were in the middle of renovations, but we had a really good crew, and my husband was handling that part of like the job site part of the renovation part
Right,
of the thing was on him, and the other part, the financial and the management and making sure everybody's paid was capital and all of that was me. So I was doing my part, he's doing his part. Slowly, the material starts going 4 times the value. Slowly, you're not allowed to be
right,
on a site for more than X number of people, or you
right.
can't do, or whatever. The point was,
And this whole time you're paying hard money, loan loan
correct.
interest.
That's right. And so, but also, Irwin, and again, people don't do that, and it's important to acknowledge what you did wrong. Because I knew how to do the first part so well, it was like a machine. It was like a well-oiled machine. So I was still finding these deals and buying these properties, okay? Because the refinance stage had not hit on the ones that were the last batch. The previous batches had, and they were fine. They were, rented out, they were doing well, money was coming in. But at that point, I should have either stopped buying or slowed down. But I did not have a way of knowing what was coming. And what was coming in the sense was, um, if you can handle things when one thing or the other happens, when everything happens together on 17 ongoing projects.
Right. Wait. You had 17 properties in renovation stage
In
of some
renovation
sort?
stage.
Oh my.
In 2021,
And
Arvind,
you're paying private money interest rates.
correct, on at least all of them and the
Right.
ones that are pending the refi in the last block.
Right. And you were still acquiring more property.
Yes,
So you're
because
making the
I was
problem, you're adding to the problem.
because I was not being even like told that, okay, the refis. Okay, what happened was the refis slowed down, right? If you remember, so
Yeah,
refinance.
COVID.
I know, but nobody was telling me. So I was
It's
like,
just the
oh,
banks knew that anyways,
it
everything
was
was
dealing
messed
with the
up.
banks.
The appraisers couldn't even get into property.
The Again, it's not one person's fault, but someone with a fiduciary duty could have told me that no, we're going to put a hold on any further lending
Right, right,
till these all clear out and get refinanced.
right.
So the money was still pouring in along
Because
with that.
the money was still pouring in for them.
Yeah,
And if they were paying money the day the money hit their account, if the broker was paying money the day hit, oh yeah, that's a system
you
flaw.
see? Yeah,
They should not pay money until the money's deployed.
yeah.
Sorry, for the listener's benefit. So if there's an intermediary broker who is placing private money. In this case, they're placing money with you as the borrower, and they're the intermediary between you as the borrower and the lender. A common flaw in this model is when if the lender deposits money with the intermediary and the intermediary starts paying interest the day that money hits their account, then they're motivated to just move the money versus being more diligent with it.
Yeah, I
and
think
waiting until the money is actually deployed to pay interest on it.
yeah, and not just that. I think just as a broker, I would think that you are
Well, she's
seeing
in big
more
trouble
than
for it
I.
now.
Sorry?
She's in big trouble now. She's been banned.
No, yeah, I know. And again, I don't like to make someone a villain. It's not because probably because of what I've been through. I'm very careful about someone has to really prove to me personally that they are doing something knowingly wrong to me for
Hmm.
me. And then I'm like, dude, no, I'm not taking this nonsense. That's different.
Hmm.
But my point is that,
You raise a good point, and I've been like saying this in conversation with people as well. A lot of people involved in these investments, they're all bankrupt.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not like on a beach in Barbados with like $10 million in the account. They
Yes,
lost everything. They've lost their
exactly.
business. Some of these people are losing their home. Some of them will never be able to show their face in our community again.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Uh,
And that
Right?
last part can be controlled, even is my point. That they can't show their face in the community is not because the business failed. It's because of what they did and didn't know when it was going to fail.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I wanted to come, because it's
Right.
so important, Arvind, for people to understand that shit will hit the fan at some stage
Yeah.
if you're big enough or going big enough or whatever. But what you do then is what will define the rest of what everyone thinks, not just thinks of you, but you yourself. You have to wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror. So the point of the matter is, when that happens, you have to find a way and the strength in you somehow um, to do things right by those who trusted you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and with as much integrity as you can muster in the most difficult of times.
Right. Right.
Um, and nobody will be always, 100% of the people will not be happy. They will hate you, and that's okay. It's their right. Okay. Money is something that's very emotional.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but
I've said it on the show. I know you don't listen to this show, so I'll repeat it for you.
no, but I listen to you
You
sometimes.
make people money, they're
Yeah.
all your friends. You lose people's monies, they will hate your guts.
Yes, yes. And Karina Guzman, there's this person who does developmental land development courses in
Yeah,
Ottawa. She's a really nice person.
she
Um,
makes lots of money.
yes,
I
yes.
know Karina.
Yeah, okay, yeah, she's really sweet. I had once, she wasn't coaching at that time, but I had asked her to help me learn a little bit about land development, and she had agreed to. So me and Pierre learned a bit from her. But she had reached out to me recently as well, and she wanted me to come. She said, I want to create a series of podcasts where I want to talk to people who have built that elusive empire, and then things went absolutely wrong, and
Hmm.
they lost everything or whatever. And I
Hmm.
want to talk about that because
Right.
what happened
Because
is
you're not alone in this. I hope
exactly,
you already know you're not alone in this.
but people don't realize that because we villainize people who fail or
Oh.
make these mistakes. We do, Arvind. Come on, we are
I
so
personally don't. I feel bad for them. Like
no,
like
no,
like
Arvind.
it's in the
I'm going to call
news.
you out on that.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, and it's not just you. I think it's human nature also. It's saying things like a very common statement I heard at that time was when the tide goes out.
Yeah, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked. Yeah, I
Yeah,
used the term yesterday. Yeah.
the problem is that it's not just that maybe they were not swimming naked. Maybe they had on really good speedos, but the tide was so damn strong, and there was combined with a hurricane and a tornado and a what have you, that it just tore everything off of them, and that's how they were left naked. So it's not as simple as that. And I think that because we tend to villainize the people who go through terrible things and bankruptcy and things falling apart and losing homes and everything in our own community in real estate, that people who do go through it or might be going through it
Hmm.
don't talk about it. Because not just are they scared to admit it, they're scared of being judged openly,
Hmm.
publicly, socially. And
Hmm.
that's huge in today's world. So people will not talk. And so Karina, coming back to Karina, she wanted to do a series of podcasts with people who had gone through that, and all these names we see in the news in the last 4 years. And when she called me, I said, absolutely, tell me when. I'm ready now. I needed to get through some things mentally and everything. Just tell me when. And then I followed up with her and I said, when are we doing that? And she said, everybody else said no. So
You said to me no to me years ago.
yeah, but I did say that I'm not ready yet,
Yeah.
because you have to get,
And that says something about your character. You actually did follow through and kill him, right?
yeah, you have
8 out of 10 times people say no. And then
yeah,
sorry, the vast majority don't even respond.
no,
Like
because
Mark Smith didn't respond. No response at all.
oh
His
yeah,
business partner Alex did come on,
okay,
right?
yeah,
Alex
yeah.
Solga.
Oh yeah,
And
okay,
I've had other people. I've had other guests of the show. And again, I know people from Black Card have turned me down. Have also turned me down or not responded as well. Right.
right, yeah,
But
uh,
yeah.
yeah, that became a whole other thing, right? But yeah, that's why it had to be like I had to do this now, because one, when you asked me in the beginning, I was still dealing with stuff, medically and stuff like that, that were repercussions of that. And I needed to be strong enough that I come on your show and I don't start bawling. That would be not be fun because it was too emotional for me.
Mhm.
Anyways, so that was the kind of story. Okay. So what happened was that COVID thing happened and there was a bottleneck. So I'll bring that part of the story to sum it up a bit. So what happened was, we finished a set of. So I was told and advised to make companies in a way that, okay, you do acquire 10 or 15 properties, put it in one company, finish that project, then we refinance that as a corporate refinance, and then that's done, and then the next one. Very
Right.
logical,
Yeah.
great way.
Takes a while to do.
It takes
Take some operational skill to do.
yes.
Right. Which a lot of
Yes.
people didn't have.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that people on your, the professionals on the team are doing their bit to
Yeah.
advise you also, because I'm also learning as I go along, right? While I'm doing this, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to manage. And Irvin, when we went through that, there was never one single payment to any lender, including prom notes at 17%, that was ever delayed on my part or ever missed. And we'll come to that, but eventually I filed a proposal for the businesses. And when we filed the proposal, it was done at a time when there was still about $1 million sitting in the bank account so that we could pay mortgages. So it wasn't like we exhausted all resources and said, oh, I'm done. Here's the key. There's nothing in our bank account. No, because then at that stage, nothing can like no one can help you. You can't help anyone to get out of this nonsense. So, yeah, sorry, this part gets emotional, right? Because it was a lot. So, coming back to the mid part of 2021. So, when that corporate refi was happening, and these new set of properties were undergoing renovation, and then renovations almost came to a standstill, or you had contractors who said that, hey, a project that was otherwise costing us 200,000 is now adding up. Already, I'm seeing the bills, and it's at 400,000, and now I can't stop it midway. Like that's what am I going to do with the property not finished? So you're faced with decisions that okay, you need to finish this so that we can sell it even at whatever price. So you're dealing with a lot. So, but it's not just one when you're scaling up; it's more. And then you're being told that okay, you need money, no problem, 17% prom note, and you're like, okay, I need to finish this. What do I do? Fine, and you're making the payments, but oh Jesus, the refinances that were taking 2 to 3 months, I was on month 7,
Oh no.
and the brokers involved in that, I was sending them messages every day. Can you please give me an answer? When? They're like, we just don't have an answer. And I don't really blame them. That was just how things were at that time, right? In banking, it was just taking longer. And at that point, Irwin, something in my brain clicked, and I think the whole thing kind of added up in my brain at one point, and that was that all these mortgages now are on that 1 year mark. They were
Oh boy.
supposed to be refinancing
Hmm.
X months with the buffer. That buffer is coming to an end. So what's my choice? I either borrow money and pay to extend these, or I request the broker to talk to the lenders and give me some breathing room. The good thing in my case, Irwin, was every single property that we bought was a good deal.
Hmm.
It was bought right. It was beautifully renovated. It was rented very well.
Hmm.
So that part of the operations continues to be something we are really
So
proud of.
sorry, you had the properties were tenanted as you were waiting refi?
So, whichever, because now we're at about, let's say 2021, we own about 70 properties.
1-7?
No, 70.
7-0, okay. A lot of moving parts. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I'm glad I
17
clarified.
would have, 17 would have saved everything.
Oh, 17 would have been easy. Okay, 17 we
Yes,
cakewalked, 7-0 broke the camel's back.
yes, during COVID. Maybe non-COVID, we could still have figured out a solution.
Right.
But 70, out of which 40 are in the process of refis. No, half of that is in the process of refi, but some are undergoing renos. Okay, so it's a domino. So some are refinanced, they're doing well, they're rented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ones that are being
Or set it and
refinanced,
forget it. Yeah.
yeah, the ones that are being refinanced are also rented. So they're
Oh,
bringing in,
good.
yeah,
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 you
yeah,
have rent coming in. Okay.
exactly. But they are able to carry the mortgage and all the carrying costs because uh, the plan is to refi and get that money
Get a
out
cheaper
of
mortgage rate. Schedule A
correct
bank. Right.
and pay off the people so that I can stop paying that 17 or
Yeah.
prom notes
Yeah.
for the
Get
reno.
cheap debt to replace the expensive debt. Yeah.
Yes, extending everything where the refis are not coming in stop means I'm also paying that 70%, 17% for longer on not just the currently reno projects,
Yeah.
but also
Which
the
will
ones
probably
that are
kill almost
finished.
any business.
So at that point, what happened was I went to the broker and I begged, borrowed, pleaded with them.
All right. And this is the Lion Share we're talking about, the broker. Lion Share
Yeah,
or Windrose Group.
Windows, yeah.
All right.
And again, they're personally they're good people and everything. I don't know. I don't want to comment on that part. But I told them, listen, okay, this is happening, and I am not going to be able to get. It's through you only that the refi is happening, and I'm being told that it's not coming through yet. It's not here yet, and next month is the renewal. So can we do something? Can I get a 6-month grace period where I can extend the mortgage for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
or if I can add an extra percentage point in interest at the end of the term. So when I pay them back, I'll pay them an extra percentage in interest. I was shut down so fast that
Oh, crap.
I was
Really?
rudely shut down and told that
By
is
Clara or her team?
the team, the Windows team, um, that was not happening. And
I'd be like, give me everyone's phone number. I'll talk to them myself.
yeah, that whole nice girl syndrome. That's why I've been working on that since then. But so I said, okay, they're not open to this idea. Let me find out on the mortgage documents who the lenders actually are for which one,
Wait,
and
wait, wait. So they'd rather go take you to power sale than
no, no, no,
give
that's
you
not what
grace?
they wanted. That's not what they wanted.
What they want?
They wanted me to borrow more money and pay
Oh
those
shit.
bills.
Oh.
And that is what broke the camel's back. At that point, I had a mental breakdown that started because here are these options and none of them are good. And I still tried, Irvin. I wasn't done yet. After I was shut down by them clearly, and I had the email for that as well from one of their people. But I was basically told, no, you have to either pay the renewal fee or pay the loan out. Okay. And how do you pay the renewal fee? You can imagine, get a prom note at 17%. So I reached
The
out.
cure is more of the problem.
I reached out.
That was their answer. The problem
I
is,
reached out to the lenders. Some of the lenders I was able to find their contacts because they were lending on multiple homes of mine. So I had, I had their name and I Googled and everything and I found their info and I wrote directly to them. Okay. Because I'm also an investor. I invest with other people's projects. So I understand if there's a problem, I would rather work with the investor to get my money back rather than have them pushed into a corner where things go terrible, right? So I reached out to a person and I told him, hey, this is the problem. This is what's happening. I'm happy to, if you can just extend it for a few months, excuse me, without a renewal fee, I'll give you an extra percentage point. And he was okay with that. But he obviously wouldn't mention it to the broker that he was okay with that. Because then I got a scathing letter. And I was
oh,
like,
come
you
on.
are not to talk to any of our lenders directly.
Oh my God.
And we have already told you what you're supposed to do. So
These are supposed to be people helping you get the deal done.
So I was, Erwin, at that stage, that's when I had a mental breakdown. And
Good thing you weren't in that office. I would have gone postal.
I felt so alone, Erwin, because now I had this whole knowledge of this behemoth on my head. And I had tried everything that I could logically see as a solution and hoped that someone would work through it with me. But I couldn't see any more solution. And I categorically refused to borrow money to pay fees to
Right.
extend mortgages.
So sorry, what if you said no?
I don't know. They didn't say what would happen after that. They were just like, this is what you need to do. It was an or else thing, obviously. And then, I mentioned it to someone. I don't know if it was Denise or someone. And because the thing is, when you're going through this, you have to also keep your cards to your. If words gets out that there's a problem, then Ottawa's a small town. People will talk, and stories will become something they're not even there,
Right.
and that
That's
affects.
when you need friends outside of town.
And then I have friends in the industry everywhere, but I don't even know what's happening right now. Right? All I know is this is the fact. This is happening. Renewals have not come through. I have, to renew, and I am being told that I have to pay these fees. So I have to borrow about $3 million to pay these goddamn fees. And
And sorry, and the fees are again 17% interest rate on $3
no,
million.
the fees. Well, the interest rate is that, but their
Yeah,
fees are like 3% or so. I don't remember what it is.
3%.
Blocked
Oh
it out
God.
of each mortgage. You have to
But if
pay
you're
this
borrowing
fee
three, then
upfront.
you're talking 3% of $3 million that you have to pay, plus the interest rate.
No. 3% of 50 million, not full 50, but the mortgages that were being renewed. So I had to borrow 3 million to pay fees. And if I was to use prom notes, that would be at 12 to 17%.
Right. Okay. So
And
I think
that,
that's the definition of over leverage.
not just that, in my mind, that is the definition of
Wait.
a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. No, wait. Hang on. The broker's enabling you to do this? Isn't that the definition of Ponzi scheme?
Again, it's not being put into words, but this is what I am being advised that you need to pay the
There's
fee.
another gentleman in trouble with the OSC for the exact same thing. He was borrowing money, and then the money when the money landed in his account, he used to pay interest and other interest payments, and that was exactly flagged by the OSC.
Yeah. Like I said,
As definition of Ponzi.
yeah. And I'm not saying that that's what we were. I was
Neither
being.
of us are. We're not lawyers, nor securities
And
lawyers.
the fact that
But we're asking
clearly,
questions.
yeah, like they clearly told me back off. You're not talking to our lenders to try options, to work it
Good
out,
Lord.
to extend this. If you want to do this, you have to pay the fees. Find a way and pay the fees, and which means borrow the money to pay the fees. And I'm not.
Good Lord.
I decided at that time, Arvind, that
Okay.
I was not going to borrow more money,
Right.
and that meant something had to happen. Like if I'm
Right.
not going to do that,
Which is really interesting. Just to share, for example, I just had Mike Rosehart on the show, and he shared how he actually gave he had lent money, very significant money, 7-figure money, and he was giving the lenders more time because the market turned. Right.
yes, and that's all I
Right.
wanted. I
Most
just
investors don't want to take the property back. Right.
yeah,
The broker should not want to take the property back. The
yeah,
broker should want to see the deal go through on plan. Right.
yeah, yeah.
This
And
is crazy.
yeah,
Rasna, I had no idea your story was this crazy.
yeah, that's why I needed time, Arvind, to get over this. Not get over it, to
Yeah.
deal with everything. But again, it's so that decision had to be made. If I'm going to stop doing that, that means my mortgages will come. They will ask for it back, and it's a domino effect, right? One is going to ask, two, say, three. At that point, we were like, okay. Um, I had, like I said, I had a full mental breakdown. I was admitted to the hospital. I stayed with a friend because now the brains of of the company, my brain stopped functioning because it actually crashed. Because I guess I couldn't find a solution, and
Mhm.
I tried everything, and I didn't know what to do. So my brain just kind of, the term they used was my brain was broken. So
Mhm.
and then my family thankfully are very well educated, and they're economists and business people in California and Dubai. I have family. They all came together. They formed a board uh, while I was not able to function, and they went through everything, the books and everything, numbers that were in my head. They tried to pull it out of all sheets and everything to come to an understanding of, okay, this is the current situation. What should we do next? How do we get out of this so that people are, made whole? Easiest thing to do is what others sadly did. I'm not dealing with this, bankrupt, do whatever you want, chase me, whatever. That was never part of my
Right.
plan. My
Because sorry,
my
just to fill in the gap, like in those other cases where they just went bankrupt, all those promissory notes were all wiped out.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Thanks for mentioning that. So my big concern was that all the homes I know each of the houses, I know the value of each house, I know they're really good, I know they're well tenanted, cash flowing properties on regular mortgage rates. But I know that the prom notes don't hold up in, if
They're
everybody takes
worthless.
the property, yeah, if the
Yeah.
properties, people take the properties, the prom note people are not going to have anything.
Right.
So
They'll get wiped out.
my concern was for my prom note holders.
Right.
And
And how much in prom money do you think you had?
I don't have the numbers because
A
again,
couple million?
yes, for sure, for sure.
Right.
So when I was in that mental state, when I'm told that my constant sentence was, while I was awake, was I need to pay my investors back. I need to pay my investors back. I have to make sure
Hmm.
they get their money. So that was in because most of my investors were people I knew, like my parents. They put in their whole inheritance from their parents into my business. I put in everything that I had built from 2008 into my business. My cousins, my sister, my friends, a lot of them. This is this is apart from the prom notes that came from the bulk of them came from Claire, of course. Well, not Claire personally. Well, Penrose at
Her
Lion's Share.
company.
Lion's Share, yes. So that was my main concern at that time, and so the decision was made. So they asked me, "Hey, Rasna, you know what? Decisions have to be made. You're not okay, but things have to move in a timely fashion because otherwise, it'll just drain the money that's in your account right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And once the money is gone, then nothing can be done. Then you're done, and nobody can be protected." So I was like, "Okay." Um, And they said, are you okay if like out of the 70, you're left with just 15 properties? I was like, of course I'm okay. That's not.
Just 15 houses. Yeah.
I was like,
That's all you
just
get.
15? Oh, I was like, yeah. And then, after 2 weeks of more calculation, then my cousin tells me, he's an accountant. He's like, oh, sorry, will you be okay with just 5? Because it's looking like, fees and everything, it's going to wipe out the remaining equity. I was like, I don't care. Even if I don't have any left, please let's find a way. Just we have to pay everybody back. And then it came to a stage where it was Christmas. No, before
The,
Christmas. 2 weeks before
the
Christmas.
year?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2021, just before, 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was advised by everybody on that board that you need to find a way to get out of your mental state right now, and you need to talk to a trustee. So that takes some not guts. It's a process in your mind, accepting that is the only option left now, to talk to a bankruptcy insolvency trustee. Because till then you're like, no, there must be some solution. You're trying to find solutions. But I had people who worked day and night. My family flew down from all these places and they worked day and night while I'm sitting in bed, non-functional, and I trust them. So we found a way, figured out a way to hire a trustee, have them come in and go through all the books and everything, and they came to the conclusion that the best way forward is a proposal. And for a proposal to work, they said, what's your most important thing? Is it just getting rid of the properties? I said, no, that is the worst thing that can happen. Because if getting rid of properties means a fire sale, these are literally gold properties that are in the market. And only I know the value of each of these properties. And I know how to negotiate to push the sale that it sells for over market price. So I have to be involved in that process. When people are angry, they're like, "Oh, you go,
Right. So like a controlled divestment versus
correct,
going to bankruptcy. Right?
exactly." Bankruptcy, there's no control. They're just going to sell it to whatever cost they're going to get, and the second mortgage holders or prominents forget they're not getting anything.
And 2021, it's a good market to sell into.
That's the blessing in disguise, Irvin. That when this decision had to be made and was made, and then eventually present. So I was like, this is the worst time. I cannot tell people on Christmas that we are filing a proposal and they're possibly going to lose money. So I was like, please, we have to just wait till Christmas is over, let people have a Christmas, and the next day we can tell. That was the worst Christmas of my life because I knew that next day, what are we going to tell people? Anyways, so 26th, I think the letter that I had written to the investors and the notice of intent went out. It's called, for the consumer proposal, for the business proposal, and people were informed. And I was told, don't answer the phone at all. Switch off your phone. Don't talk to any investor. Don't talk to anyone. But of course, I couldn't do that because these people trusted me. I mean, there were people who had put in money just 2 months ago, Arvind. I didn't know 2 months ago this would happen, right? And so that money was deployed or whatever. And anyways, worst time of my life. So eventually we got 100% agree buy-in from investors on the proposal. And it was, I agreed to give up everything of my owned in the business that was already in the business, including that dream house that we had built for the family and that we had just moved in last month, 1 month ago.
Right. So you're sacrificing your own assets
Yes.
that you brought into the business
Yes,
as part of the proposal.
Everything. Like I requested in that, I think your RSPs don't get touched, so that you have something. And I negotiated something small that, hey, I am the sole provider for a family of 10, and I do need to get back on my feet eventually. So I need something. So we kept, a little something. But everything else, including that house, which I had put in 400,000 of my own money savings to build, to create for the family, because it was fair. I think it was fair. If everybody's going to hurt, I need to hurt more, and people will want me to hurt more, and it's understandable. So, anyways, the thing was, I'm going to give up everything and start afresh. Start afresh, as in sell each property as best as I know, choosing the realtors that I know will be suited best for each. And that gave me the opportunity to space it in a way that we were not putting 70, imagine, Irvin, 70 properties
Mhm.
going on the market in 1 month, all SDUs. It's going to affect the market
Right.
and my price.
Sorry, was that Barrie or was that Ottawa? Where was that? Or
These are Ottawa area. So
okay.
so the Barrie ones I did sell and put, that was part of the divorce settlement. So I put that money into my business. So everything that I had built before I put into the business. And that's kind of also, I want to mention that because people are like, people borrow money and they do everybody's like OPM, other people's money. So they don't feel the pain. But not everybody. Other people, most people, I would like to think, believe in what they're doing wholeheartedly, that they invest every single thing that they own in their business. Um, so the pain is very real, way more than, most. But anyways,
Oh, so sorry, Rasna. So all your debtors, all your lenders got paid out?
yes. So all first and second mortgage holders were obviously secured. And because we were able to sell most of them above market prices, some of them were sold, created records that are still unmatched today, 4 years later.
That was a good year to
Um,
sell.
and like,
I wish I sold everything then.
yeah,
I wish I had your timing.
I know. That was such a huge blessing, the timing. But again, it's all, yes, that helped. But also then figuring out that you have to space out those 70. And what I had promised in the proposal was we will do it in a way that it's done right and it's done
Mhm.
as soon as possible.
Quietly.
People want their money also, right? They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so everybody was paid.
But it's in their best interest to get the most money as possible,
Yes, but
right?
people do
To
not
get a better
understand that.
return.
People don't understand that. They're
I
like,
know,
"Oh,
that's why they
trying
need
to
to talk
hide
to you.
something." Yeah, they're
And
like,
even ideally go tour the property.
yeah, they're like, okay, no,
Which they should have from the beginning if they were going to lend on it.
listen, you trusted me for some reason. Just there's a reason I'm trying to convince you to agree to the proposal because it's in the best interest of you.
Right.
So you have
Right.
to fight to tell them that this protects you, not me. And it doesn't help you if you're gonna lead me into bankruptcy. It doesn't help anyone. But people are, they don't understand.
But they probably don't know the deal. They don't know the property. They're not area
Yes,
experts.
yes.
Right. I bet they've never seen the property. I've heard
Never.
that so many times where people have lent on something they didn't even drive by, never been there
Oh,
before,
most
never
of
been
them
to the
had not.
city before.
Most of them had not. But in my case, Arvind, my model was such that, and I was very active and still am on social media.
Yeah.
I was constantly putting the properties and their ongoing status online. And each of the properties, I had a hashtag and the property name. So investors, like I would encourage them that go and check this week, this was what was done. And you'll see that.
Right.
So I was personally, that was big for me. That was important for me, that to know that what's your money doing.
You gave it your best to make sure your investors and your lenders' money was
I
treated as best as possible,
absolutely did.
which is not very common.
No, no, I agree. It's not, but
Like
that's
we both know people. I know people that were close that were in the same groups as you who did nothing like that.
yes, and that's so sad, Arvind, because I think so many people's money could have been saved had they done the right thing. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like sanctimonious and everything. I'm just saying that there is a way, there is a right way to do things when everything crashes.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's hard as hell. It'll take everything you've got,
Hmm.
but there is a way. You just need to find the people to talk to who can either lead you in the direction to find the person or people that will help you through that, or just know that there is a way. because most
Mhm.
don't know there is a way.
Mhm.
And Irvin, one of the other reasons I wanted to do this and talk about this so candidly was that people reached out to me who knew people, and they would say, "Can you talk to this? And would you be okay if someone called you and talked to you because they're actually going through something similar, and they tried to kill themselves?" And I understood that because I tried to do that. Because you don't see any hope. Like I said, I looked for all options and I couldn't, there was no help, no options. And I was like, you just feel so, the weight of responsibility is so much. And when you're self-employed, it falls on your shoulders. Some people feel it more, I'm sure, than others. But people need to know that there are others who have gone through this and that there is a way not out of it, but and the way out is through it. You like choosing the leave the key and go bankrupt option is not the only option.
It's not the only option, but from what you shared, you bought quality.
Yes,
And
and
your
that's
properties were
important.
renovated and rented. Versus like some of these other groups that are out there, the property was never renovated, let alone rented out. So there's no money coming in. There was nothing to rescue.
No,
It was only fire sale.
yes, yes, and I'm unfortunately stuck as a lender on two of these ridiculous deals where I later found out that were mortgages. We paid out mortgages of bad mortgages that were already defaulted on, and we were not told that they were defaulted on. So why do you think people want me to be quiet and make me she's the one, she actually lost people's money. She had a proposal. No, no, this is not about me. This is about you not doing what you should have done to protect us as your lenders. But yeah, so anyone who's doing investing, please find, when you take action and you buy a property, have a plan and work on that plan. Don't just get into that whole thing of everybody's in real estate. Oh my God, it's so easy to buy. Let me just buy and hold it for a while. Next year it'll appreciate on its own, even though it's a shitty place where sorry about the language, but squatters are sitting there and you can't get them out thanks to LTB. No, buy quality, but have plan, and you'll be relatively okay in the worst situation. So, and at the end of the day, it took about a year to complete the proposal to sell off every single one of those 70 properties. And the first and second position lenders obviously got paid in full, they were secured. But the prom note holders, I was able to pay back almost about 70% of their invested amount, which
Wow.
people have reached out to me in the last 2 years and said that, oh, I can only dream of getting paid out because I have a prom note and
Oh
I
yeah, I'm sure there's people listening to
any
this and hearing
yeah.
who've already given up on theirs, let alone gotten into the legal
Yeah.
process.
So at the end of the day, mine got paid out about approximately 70% of the prom notes, and at the end, I am glad that we were able to do that, and that's even though it's like, oh, the business failed. No, well, it didn't work. Yes, it in grand scheme of things, but given what we were being faced with, what the situation we were in, the cards that were dealt at that time, thanks COVID, um, this was the best outcome that was possible, thanks to everybody who was involved and was able to get us through this. And I moved into a rental home the month after, the same month as the proposal was filed. 10 days late, 5 days later, we moved into a rental house. Um, my parents live with me, so it's a multi-generational home. We're a blended family, so my husband has children who also stay with us, and I took a job as a receptionist for a year. Worked hard, paid the rent, did while the proposal was being figured out and done. So during that period, and then got stronger, better, and then people like Christian Shigofo in Ottawa.
Really? Yeah.
And Mandy Brenham, who came home through these darkest days of my life. Denise was also very nice. Elizabeth Kelly sent flowers. Jessica, I forget her last name, but she was with Luke Burrow earlier, his ex-wife, and they
Yeah.
all sent messages and they sent flowers and everything. They're like, "We get it. Just know that you're not alone." That was enough, because everybody else I felt hated me, and fairly so. I understand. It's okay. It's like I said, money's emotional. Um, but things that some of these people said to me, they're like, "Listen, you lost the money, and yeah, you don't have that empire of yours anymore, but you have the knowledge that you went through and the things you learned, and you can use that to create a new
Mm-hmm.
business."
Mm-hmm.
So I did.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And then, I bought a
Tell
home.
us about the new business.
So it's called Rentals by Russ, and I help landlords manage their properties and find the right tenant for their home, manage the tenant and the properties, and also because it's grown in the last few years, and people know my experience, other property managers reach out to me to help market theirs and find them tenants as well. So there's that. Plus, I do a little bit of side consulting as a real estate consultant as well. If people, want to kind of start in real estate and kind of know what to do with their current rental property, and they're just a small landlord like I was, and now I'm again. Um, yeah, so that I really enjoy that. I'm able to travel more with my family. Um, I do more with my time. I was exhausted to the core before, but now I slowed down and I'm doing rentals again. Of course, I'm building my own rental portfolio as well again, just slower this time. Um, and I'm not doing those crazy prom notes
Right.
ever again.
Now's the time to be going fast with the post correction.
Yeah, no, I'm just now the thing is, once you've done something, you're like, okay, yeah, that was great. The fact that I was able to do everything that I did, I'm proud of that. That took guts. Okay, it took a lot of gumption, and
Most people wouldn't do what you did.
yeah, I don't even recommend it. It's exhausting, um, But the homes we created, Arvind, I I'm actually, people reach out and I'm helping them manage properties, and I'm like, oh my God, you know what? We created this home. We own this, so I know everything about this house. So so that's nice, and it's nice to see that those homes are rented to people, and people are leading happy lives in these beautiful homes that we built, and that's a legacy in itself. We helped create that, so that doesn't go away. Um,
What's the best place to learn about rentals by Raz?
I'm very active on my Facebook page, Rentals by Russ, and Instagram, Rentals by Russ. You can follow me there. You can reach out um, through any of those platforms. It'll directly bring you to my WhatsApp, and I'm happy to connect. And I've always been happy to share my story. And anyone who, I do want to say that, anyone who tries to use that as something to shame me, um, is so off track, because I am not ashamed of it. I am proud of how it was handled. Um, and I did it with integrity that very few, unfortunately, are able to do it. But I was here to talk that it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is decide that you can do it. If you're going through something tough, reach out to me. I'd be happy to share my resources, or just I'll be happy to listen. Sometimes that's all one needs. Um, and definitely, it's not worth taking your life for, because it will, like this, whatever you're going through, it will end. It's just stuff. at the end of the day, it's stuff. I did lose everything, start from scratch, and do just fine. Provide for your family, do what's important to you, and you'll be okay. But if you run and hide and do it the wrong way, who's going to want to talk to you ever? Or trust you?
So Rasna, it's 2026. You manage property. What would you say is the ideal investment going forward, or what's the investment that you would put your own money in today?
I think it's a really good time to buy again. How it was, Don used to talk about cycles, and we are in that cycle. In my humble opinion, it's that, and it has been for the last few months as well. A great time to again buy good deals, negotiate. There's so much room for negotiation. Properties are sitting on the market right now. Properties are being pulled off the market because they're not selling. One little trick I used to use, and I used to teach my students when I was a coach, was look for listings that were listed for a long time and have expired, and ask your agent to reach out to those sellers and ask them and present an offer, whatever that offer is. They're already off the market, so anything you give them will be something better than nothing. And there were many properties we actually bought like that. So
what about bank sales and power sales? Any specific strategy for that?
we actually did buy a power sale earlier this year. And the property sat on the market for a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the bank as the seller. Wow.
Yeah. It was for 300,000. Did not sell. They dropped it down to 220. We went back. It was scary as hell for everyone else, but been there, done that. So not as scary for us. And bought it for 180. And this is near Ottawa. So again, put in, my husband renovated it, and it's rented for 2,200 plus utilities. So rented to a lovely couple. So yeah, look for those unicorns, because the thing is, in every market, people are like, oh, there's nothing in the market. There's nothing to buy. I have bought in every kind of market. There are deals always. You just need to know how to find them or create them. It may not look like a deal, but hey, if it's sitting there for half the year, I'm guessing the guy wants to sell. So give him something, and then use those negotiation tactics, and throw in something, take something back, all of that fun process. And yeah, I have something I'll be closing next year, so I don't have to pay for it till next year. But so now my plan is back to my original, buy a property or two a year slowly, and do that again. So and I'm enjoying that, and I'm
Yeah,
trying.
as a realtor who works with investors, like this is to me, this is the most fun time to buy.
And it's so
Yeah.
exciting. Like even though like this month I'm not looking to buy, but I'm always, and that's the thing, that's the trick. You always look at MLS, keep an eye on, put your filters on that. Okay, this is my price range. This is the kind of house I'm looking. At least that way you're aware, and then that way you're better positioned to put in an offer. And you never know, because so many times
Yeah.
people accept what you think will. Like Pierre, I'm Indian, so I'm one, frugal, and two, I'm not ashamed to offer low, to negotiate or bargain. That's in our blood almost. And he's like, nobody's gonna ever accept that. I said, that's okay. They can say no. I'm just asking. That's what's the worst that can happen, right? Let's just say no. It's already a no right now. And that was one of the ways we got quite a few deals. Yeah.
Rasna, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope it helps someone.
Any final words you want to share with the listener?
Yes, peel the layers, as Don used to say. And don't just go by the hype you see on social media. about groups and people who seem like experts, because trust me, most of them are not. They would love to be, and one day I am sure there will be. But please just do more due diligence and try to find the truth before you take any action. And believe in yourself, because you can do it.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Rasna.
Thank you.
All right, friends, that wraps up another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show for Canadians. Hope you got as much out of this one as I did. Remember that whether you're just starting out or a seasoned investor, there's always something new to learn, and it's always about building that practical knowledge base that gets you closer to financial freedom. If you found value today, please do us a favor and leave us a review or a rating, share this episode with a friend, or better yet, join our community of real estate investors who are taking action and making moves. And hey, if there's a topic you want us to cover, or there's a certain guest you'd like us to have on the show, drop me a line. My DMs are open on social media. Reply to this email that this has arrived on. I'm not hard to find. You know, we're all about getting you the unfiltered truth to help you on your journey. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay smart, stay curious, and keep building that future. Catch you later.